Full Introduction, Chapter 1, Intake. I did not enter the Nevada Department of Correction as a lawyer, a litigator, or a legal scholar. I entered the system the way many men do, through a mistake that carry a heavy price. My conviction was for prohibited person in possession of a firearm, a nonviolent offense that placed me back into a world I thought I had left behind. But what the system did not know was that I was not the same man I had been years earlier before entering NDOC. I had already begun shaping a different future. I studied criminal justice at Western Nevada College. I enrolled in online college courses with Penn Foster. I worked on an associate's degree in criminal justice. I studied law because I wanted to understand the system that had shaped so much of my life, and because I wanted to fight for those who had no voice inside of it. When I walked into NDOC, I carried more than my property. I carried books, knowledge, and purpose. Inside those walls, something changed in me. I picked up the law books and I did not put them down. I studied every day. I read case law until my eyes burned. I learned constitutional law, civil rights law, criminal procedures, ADA law, and federal litigation. I learned how to write grievances, motions, objections, and complaints. I learned how to survive NDOC not with violence, but with knowledge over time. I did not just learn the law, I used it. I litigated multiple civil rights cases. I fought criminal proceedings. I stood in courtrooms. I prepared for trial arguments. I wrote motions, briefs, and objections. I learned challenge state agencies, warden directors, and offender management division. I learned how to navigate the federal courts, how to cite statutes, how to structure claims, how to build a case from the ground up. I became a self-taught civil and criminal litigator inside a prison cell. My conviction may have brought me into the system, but the law is what carried me out. And the moment I walked out of NDOC custody on August 30th, 2024, I walked out not just as a free man, but as a man who has spent years preparing for the fight ahead. I walked out with knowledge, discipline, and determination to hold NDOC accountable for what they have done. 6 days later, on September 5th, 2024, I filed my amended civil rights complaint in the United States District Court for District of Nevada, not as an inmate, but as a trained, self-taught litigator who had mastered the very system that once tries to break him. My litigation file says it clearly. Plaintiff was released and is no longer under Federal Rules of Prison Litigation Reform Act, PLRA. Plaintiff is not obligated to fully exhaust requirements. When I filed my amended civil rights complaint as a free man, I was not just filing paperwork. I was stepping into the arena I had spent years preparing for. I had studied the law inside prison cells. I had taught through criminal proceedings. I had litigation civil rights issues from behind bars. I learned how to write, argue, and defend myself. I had become a self-taught litigator because the system left me with no other choice. But even with all that preparation, nothing could prepare me for the moment the federal court finally spoke. On April 22nd, 2025, the United States District Court for the District of Nevada issued a screening order in my case, Yescas versus NDOC. Case number 3:2-4-CV-00398-ART-CSD. I filed my case as a free man, not as a prisoner. I filed it because NDOC refused to follow the law. I filed it because NDOC discriminated against me for minor mental health disability. I filed it because NDOC denied me equal access to programs, camps, transitional housing, vocational trainings, and early release opportunities. I filed it because NDOC ignored every grievance I submitted. I filed it because ADA and the Constitution protects people with disabilities even inside prison walls. I filed it because the truth deserves to be heard. When the clerk of the court mailed me the notice assigning my case number 3:24-CV 00398-ART-CSD was not just paperwork. It was acknowledgement. It was